just hit on it. As long as you lend a hand, it is all right. And with that kind of spirit involved, welcome to Comfortably Zoned Radio. I am the Zigzag Man, and we are in Alameda, California, and my guest is in Oakland, California. He is world-famous producer of Comedy Day in San Francisco and a returnee to these microphones, Barry Katzman. How are you, Barry?
I am fine, and thank you for playing the Traveling Wilburys, one of my favorites, all-time favorites.
Absolutely.
They were originally called the Four Nasally Guys, but that didn't work well.
The four old-timers. They do well by us, huh? Their choice of music and those 4 or 5 guys working together, they're priceless. Gave us a bonus along the way. And I wish they were all with us today. That notwithstanding, they aren't, and you are a big Frank Sinatra fan, as am I, and we talked about Francis Albert, last time you were on. Any Frank stories, anything come to mind when I just mentioned the man's name? He's been gone almost 20 years now, and
yeah, wow.
Missed all the time.
Well, we had a little anniversary yesterday, didn't we?
Of something.
Of the MDA telethon where he reunited with Dino.
Oh, I
that
saw
was
that all over Facebook.
1976, I believe it was 1976, and I was living in Chicago at the time, and I was about I think it was, it was late in the evening. It was 11:30, maybe midnight, something like that. I don't remember. And, Frank came out and gave Jerry a couple of checks, and he said, I'd like to bring out a pal of mine. And lo and behold, the first time they had talked in 20 years, more than 20 years.
Not Frank and Dean, but but Dean and Jerry, of course.
Right. Frank stepped away, and Dean walked out, and he and Jerry had a big hug, and you could hear, if I could be wrong, but I thought I heard Jerry look over at Frank and go, "You son of a bitch." It's really funny. And then, Jerry's, then they just kind of looked at each other, and then finally Jerry said, "So, you been working?" Cracked Dean up, and then Dean, I think Dean was pretty loaded at the time, and this thing's up on YouTube, so you just look at the MDA telethon, Jerry Dean reunion or whatever, it'll come up, and it's a classic. It's a classic. Yeah. And then he when he left, I don't think he ever spoke with Jerry again, but I can't be sure. I'm on my 3rd or 4th year of trying to get through Dean and Me, the book by Jerry, which was a tribute to his pal Dean. And I think every time I pick it up, I can't remember the first 4 or 5 chapters I read, so I have to start over, and then I have to put it down because who's got time to read? And I just feel horrible.
You are a busy man. Catch us up a little bit. What you've been doing lately?
Well, lately I've been working for doing some helping out a couple of it's easy for me to say a couple of nonprofits, and of course the big one is Comedy Day, Sunday, September 20th. Yes,
comedy.
Yeah, one stage, 5 hours, 35 years, 40 comedians, 1 million laughs, and it's free.
It's free. It's one of the things that old San Francisco is very, very proud of, and it's been going on like you say, 35 frickin' years of this. You can't believe it. And one of the people back is a guest of mine a few weeks ago on this air. One of my favorites of all time. I worked with him years ago, Mickey Joseph. And
sweet guy, real sweet guy.
Sweet guy, and one of those folks who reaches a common denominator with his audience, and he doesn't offend anyone. He's up-spirited. He may work a little blue every now and again, but we're in in the 21st century here. Things are different, but not so much so. Not so much where you wouldn't take your kid to Comedy Day just to see Mickey. And who are some of the
let me interject here. Let me interject here really quick. Comedy. There's a big special announcement. Comedy, after 35 years of Comedy Day being promoted as a PG-13 event, we have now changed the rating. And now Comedy Day, because we are in the 21st century, now Comedy Day is a PG-14 event. So he can be a little bluer, but really not that much. You can't be blue at Comedy Day. It's more about the language than it is about the topics. But it's a public event. You never know who's walking by, and we don't want to offend. And that's not always the best comedy.
You don't want to curtail yourself if you have a natural line that it may involve a word or two that just couldn't be replaced by "oh shucks," it's or whatever. But
Robin was the only one who could get away with using the F word, although some people have slipped and used it before. But before we book anybody, we tell them, we know your act, and everybody's got 5 minutes of clean material, I'm sure, but we don't want you to subvert your act if you don't feel comfortable going out there and doing your blue material. We understand. We don't want you to change for us. We want you to stay as funny as you are. But most people say, nah, I can do, 5 minutes. I'll stay away from my, my controversial material. Well, it's not even controversial. There's a lot of controversial material. It's just, letting a few words slip that might offend, young mothers and fathers with, kids and stuff like that.
Right. And Mickey will not offend. I can guarantee that. And,
not at all.
And some of my old friends from the 80s, you were talking off the air a little bit, are going to be in it. Can you give me a little rundown?
Yeah, let me run through here and grab some names that you may remember. You might remember Albert Lee.
Oh, I certainly do.
Fat Albert. Fred Reese. Oh. Do you remember Fred Reese?
Freddie and I. Fred's been on my show, and he and I work together. And he has a New York spirit, even though he's from New Jersey. Still, you can't hold that against him forever. And he thinks it's as good as New York. Just give him that. Give Freddie that.
Well, I won't get in an argument with him. Mike Guido is back
Mike's very funny guy.
The first time since I think forever. And let me see who else. Bob's perennial favorites. Bob Sarlot's back. Diane Amos is back. Barry Weintraub.
You got Larry Bubbles Brown?
Larry is not performing as far as I know this year. But all the way in from New York, speaking of New York, we got Barry Weintraub flying in from New York.
Very cool.
You remember. And let's see. Rick Overton, you remember Rick Overton?
Oh, yeah. Rick worked with Robin for quite a bit.
Yeah, he shows up every couple of years, as does Carrie Snow will be back. Margaret Gomez, Will Durst, of course, Stephen Pearl, Johnny Steele. And then we've got the guy who hasn't been with us for maybe 20 years, I think. I didn't count, but we're going to see George Wallace's smiling face at Comedy.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's very, very cool. And you mentioned Diane Amos. People know of her. She plays a janitor, I think.
No, she's the Pine Sol lady.
The Pine Sol lady, exactly. Not janitor in the drama, whatever I was thinking. But yes, she's the Pine Sol lady. Well, seriously, she's one of the only comics that ever made a living. She's had that gig for many years. Not the only comic, but you know what I'm saying. That was a good gig for Diane.
She's had a 20-plus year relationship with Clorox, and she has benefited from it.
Yes. And
not only notoriety, but I think she's got a stash of cash somewhere, boy. But I'll tell you something, she's the most beautiful woman in the world, inside and out. I really love Diane. She's just such a treat.
And I judge a person's character in this business on how they are to the comics coming up. And I don't is Pritchard going to be in this?
She's pretty nasty to all the young comics.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But on that subject, I want to ask you if Mike Pritchard is going to be in Comedy Day.
No, he's not performing. I hope that he will be here. You know, he had some little health problems.
I know, and he's fully recovered, and he's doing great. I saw him at the Throckmorton a couple of weeks ago, and he performed on Doug Ferrari's show.
Oh, did you go to the what is it, the Holy City Zoo thing?
Yes,
reunion. Debbie was there, and
Steve Pearl, and
right.
I got to talk to Bubbles outside, and Bubbles and I worked together. Now, Bubbles is Rain Man. I don't know if you know that. And I hadn't seen Bubbles in almost 20 years, and Bubbles says, March 3rd, 1992, he says, we went to Eureka. I went in a separate car from you. I went up with the middle. You were the opener. We were up in Eureka. I saw the such and such movie, he said. I said, how was the movie? He says, it wasn't bad. He remembers every day of his frickin' life. I don't remember.
That I did not know. I did not know that about him.
Absolutely. And I said, I was just flabbergasted. And people around, Stephen Perry says, oh, he's the Rain Man. Didn't you know that? I said, no, I knew him back then. I knew he was an A's fan. We talked baseball. I had no idea. And he did nonchalantly. He says, you don't remember that weekend? I said, of course I remember that weekend, but I wouldn't have remembered the date, the time, who you went up with, but I would have remembered, sometime in the early 90s.
I don't remember yesterday.
I do. Oh,
okay.
You're a lucky man.
I'm a lucky man?
No, yesterday wasn't too bad. Every day, when you get to be my age, see, young feller, when you get to be my age, it's all a bonus. Every day is a holiday, and tomorrow's Christmas. So, what can I tell you?
Well,
not Christmas. It'll be Hanukkah. Let's be honest. It'll be Hanukkah. It won't be Christmas. But you're from Chicago.
Well, I get up in the morning. I look at the obituaries, and if my name isn't in there, I get up.
Okay, all right.
And did you ever notice? Did you ever look at the obituaries? These are all old Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin jokes. Ever look at the obituaries? Isn't it funny how people die alphabetically? Okay, enough of the hacky stuff. We'll leave that for the
Enough of the hacky stuff. How about your hacky life? You're from Chicago or Pittsburgh? I don't remember which one.
I was born in Minneapolis, raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the same place where Will Durst hails from. And then, yes, I spent about nearly a dozen years in Chicago. My kind of town. It's toddling town, as they say, and it's a great city. And then I eventually moved out here, so now I'm a native.
You're absolutely. It doesn't take long to be a native.
No, it doesn't.
Few of the natives left. And if you live in or around the San Francisco area, rents being what they are, there are few. Nobody's left, for crying out. You know, rents in San Francisco are absolutely. If you're listening all around the country, there's going to be a big bubble burst. The second burst is coming. But in the meantime, rents, a two-bedroom apartment for $3,000 a month, and that doesn't include parking, it doesn't include this, that, and the other thing. It's crazy. So
well, they're all moving to Oakland. A lot of people are moving to Oakland. Now the rents in Oakland are really high. In fact, I know that I moved about 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago now. I moved about 4 blocks. I'm in Oakland, so I moved 4 blocks from my previous apartment, and I know that people come and go in the building I'm in now, and I know that people on both sides of me are paying $1,000 more a month than I am.
Wow.
And my rent's not cheap, but it certainly is a lot cheaper than the people living on both sides of me, and that's now I'm really concerned that my landlord might be hatching a plot to kind of get rid of me so that he can get an extra $1,000 a month. Nah, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that.
No, he wouldn't, because you'd have to go through a little bit of red tape. You'd have to prove that he or a family member would be living there for a while, and you know how landlords wouldn't cheat about something like that. No. Craziness. And if you really want to see just how crazy it is, try living in Alameda, and people who have been living here 20, 30 years are being forced out by these greedy bastards who all they want to do is turn over the apartment, and they don't need any real excuse to move you out. And it's getting crazy. They had a renters coalition, Alameda's renters coalition, show up at the last city hall council meeting, and they took the place over. I mean, people are dissatisfied. The middle class, the working middle class, which means the working poor in this country, is just not. No one's accounting for their well-being. It's getting crazy.
We're worried, that if we do have to move, where are we going to go? I mean, prices are just through the roof, as you just said. And my wife Pat and I were discussing this the other day, and I said, just to waylay her fears, I said, you don't have to worry about it. I know where we can find a nice one-bedroom apartment that's about the same size as the apartment we're in now, and it'd only be $650 a month. And she just looked at me like, what are you, nuts? Where would that be? And I said, Alabama? She said, I'm not moving to Alabama. And I went, you might have to.
I doubt that, but you'd make arrangements. You'd do something to stay here. I don't know. I mean, hey.
Yeah, I've got a car I can live in.
Well, don't laugh. I lived in motorhomes, RVs, and camper vans for the better part of 20 years. I just recently got into a stable situation in life where I have, with the good Lord's blessing, things going my way. But I voluntarily lived in RVs and camper vans to not pay rent, to not be in a share rental situation involuntarily, to not give up the better part of your life to having to work full time to keep up with the Joneses, to do all this. And with that comes the ups and downs. It's no life is easy, and no path you take is not going to be rocky at some time or another. But it is ridiculous, and these same landlords, when there is a bubble burst and their little house of cards comes tumbling down, they'll be having signs out in front of their property, first month free. Remember how it used to be?
Oh, yeah.
When there was
that's how it was, not so much so, but when we moved in here, there was like pets, you can bring pets in, and then the deposit was $100, and it's a nice apartment. And I actually have a garage, which I can't put my car in because there's too much crap in the garage, and a couple of years went by, and we had a couple of cats. Well, he was charging me $10 a month per cat, so I was paying an extra $20 a month for cats. And then both of them passed away within 3 years of each other. And I sent my rent in, and I said, you'll note that my rent's $10 less because we lost our last cat. However, I said, if we do decide to get another cat, I will reinstitute the $10 fee for pets. No, so initially there wasn't one, and then it became $10. And then he immediately called me. Never said, "I'm sorry to hear about your cat." He said, "I changed everything. If you get another pet, you have to sign a separate lease, and it's $45 a month per cat."
Never said, "Oh, thank you anyway." But
well, forget that. $45 a month per cat. I'm going to pay $500 a year for a cat.
But you would have to, because were you going to tell the wife you're going to get rid of the cat?
Well, that would be a new one being infused into the house. The other two die.
So in other words, you want it ruins the quality of your lifestyle by not being able to have a cat.
Yeah, I'm a cats man. I mean, what do you expect? But we would like, we missed the kids, and we were thinking about maybe.
That's just a little way they nickel and dime you to death, and knows that.
Well, it's just outrageous. $45 per cat per year. I mean, per month, every year. I mean that just my jaw dropped, and I didn't have a response to him. I went, "Oh, okay, thanks."
Yeah.
So, believe me, I do not want to rile him at this point. Actually, he's a pretty nice guy. All right.
Well, I have a surprise for you, all queued up, and this is my favorite Frank of all time. He's doing a medley with Dinah Shore.
Oh, wow, cool.
Here we go. I'm pushing the buttons at my usual dexterity. Here we go. I think you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the volume back up. Huh? What do you think?
Sure.
You're in radio. Have you ever met anybody this incompetent?
Nope.
Frank and Dinah.
No, believe me. It's, was this on the Dinah Shore show?
Hear those trumpets wail again, all aglow again, taking a chance on love. Everything's mending now, I see the rainbow blending now. We'll have our happy ending now, taking a chance on love. The way you wear your hat, the memory of that. No, they can't take that away from me. I won't let them. The way you hold your knife. It's a switchblade. The way you saved my life. No, they can't take that away from me. No, can't take that away from all of me. Why not take all of me? Ain't very much so, can't you see? I'm just a mess without you. You know that you took the part that used to be my heart. So why not take all of me? Daddy, what? I want a diamond ring, and I want a bracelet and everything, Daddy. You ought to get the best for me. I'm busted, baby, busted. That's out. Now listen, Daddy. I want a brand new car, and I want some champagne, and I want caviar. You're not well. Daddy, never mind. You got to get the best for me. I can't give you anything but love. Baby, that's the only thing I'm loaded of. tell the people all about me, are you? All about it right now. You must have been a beautiful baby. You've been drinking. Beautiful baby, me. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten. What a memory. I bet you drove the little kids wild. Right. And when it came to winning blue ribbons, I was a General D. Gaulle. I bet you showed the other kids. With crooked dice, I could see the judge's eyes as they handed me the prize. I bet you made the cutest bow. Ow! Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, yes, baby.
Whoa! Frank and Dino, what do you hear? What do you say?
I'm just a mess without you.
That's
my favorite line.
And I'm watching this on YouTube as it's playing. They're delightful together. I mean, Dinah had a charm. Dinah had a charm about her where she was everybody's friend, and
especially Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, absolutely. She was definitely Burt Reynolds' friend, and
Burt Reynolds' wife died yesterday or the day before. Wasn't he married to Judy Carn from Laugh-In?
You know, you're right. At one time, they
I
were.
think he was.
She did pass away. She was the Sakatumi lady on
Laugh-In.
Was it Laugh-In? Laugh-In, yes,
yep.
Absolutely. Yep. Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. And that broke a lot of comedy barriers.
Oh, yeah.
You just brought to my grandmother. She was like in her late 80s by that time, and she's watching the show, and it was so fast paced. And she just says broken English. Says, "I don't understand what sock it to me. Why does everybody have to have it socked to them?"
My favorite was they had Richard Nixon on the show, and he would go, "Sock it to me, sock it to me." Sock it to me. Just could not deliver it.
Oh, there was other kind, Audie Johnson with those kilos. Very interesting. But stupid.
Goldie Hawn and
absolutely
Ruth Buzzy and Joanne Worley and.
Oh, you're a virtual encyclopedia, young man.
Ask me in 5 minutes, and I don't remember what it just came flowing out. And then, 3 o'clock this morning, I'll go, wait a minute. No, I don't remember.
Yeah.
We're all smart now because we have Google.
That's true. Absolutely. You probably, and you don't even have to type it in Google. You could say it to the machine. It costs $30.
I love it.
Right. It's unbelievable. Technology makes you want to stay alive another week or two.
Well, I'm glad that I never really learned how to text. With the thumbs and the fingers and all that. Now you don't need to even do that anymore. You just, dictate.
Set it up and you talk into it, and you can send a 20-minute text, and some guy in China gets it, of course, not the guy you wanted to go to. But that's all right. Life is, they're still working it out.
In fact, our friends at Apple tomorrow they have they're unveiling some new products, and I think the invitation is Siri, can I help you, or something like that. So I think they've made some innovations into Siri, which is pretty good artificial intelligence understanding. You talking to it. In fact, what did I asked? If you ask Siri on the iPhone, you ask Siri what the meaning of life is.
Right.
Because she answers all these questions, right? And she's got about 5 or 6 different answers. It's very funny.
Yeah.
They actually built a lot of fun stuff into Siri.
But if you said, "Where's my fucking keys?" what would she say? I mean,
she would probably admonish you for your language.
My keys for the 12th.
She would probably admonish you for your language.
Oh, as well she should. And
I asked her to marry me once.
Oh.
And she's got a couple answers to that too, like I don't remember what they are, but she asks Siri, will you marry me? And she has a couple of snappy responses. And then she's got other responses for you, asking her to do something else for you.
Does it have anything to do with the green card?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought, well, they're really making strides now. No, I will not marry you, but I will hook you up. Hold on 1 second. I put you on hold. Escuela? Barry, is that you? Where do you live? You live in Oakland? Is that California? Yeah. I'm in Kansas. No.
You sound
Barry?
like what's his name from the Ed Sullivan Show? Oh my gosh.
Great little Tocho Nate. Whatever. I do little silly voices in my head all the time.
Guy with the hand puppet. Oh, jeez.
Yes, Tojo Woko or whatever.
No, you're thinking of Tobo Gijo. Eddie, give me a night. Eddie. No, I'm not. I'm thinking of the ventriloquist who used to put lipstick on his thumb and forefinger and the two eyes and. Oh, geez. And
I think it was Victor.
See, you think I'm a fountain of information, and now I'm proving that I'm not.
Now, how about but you do have a good ear because was it Victor Borga who did that?
No, Victor Borga played the piano.
He played the piano, but he did a little something too, a little comedy thing too.
Well, that's
he did a little comedy thing with it, talking with his hand. Very clever back then. And of course, we had an anniversary. The Beatles played on Ed Sullivan for the 50th year of that, or 100th year, or whatever it is. I was a kid then, and I remember it well. Barry, will you come back from time to time on a more regular basis to catch up with the way things are going and let us know what it is?
I would love to. It's been too long. I think it's been a couple of years. I don't think I was
Absolutely.
with you
I was
last year at all because I'm just overwhelmed all the time. And then I was going to do it, I think, a couple of months ago, and I had a more commotion, and so I'm glad I got to hang with you today.
Okay, well, tell me the exact dates and times of comedy. Yes, I do too. But when you come on, I want it to be for something that you're doing and give you a little, get the word out there a little bit for you. The comedy date is September what? 20th?
September 20th, and guess who's not performing?
Ralph?
Senor Wences. Senor Wences. That's the one I was thinking of. He won't play. Yes, it's Sunday, September 20th. It's at Sharon Meadow in Golden Gate Park. That's the southeast corner of Golden Gate Park. I'm sorry, the northeast corner of Golden Gate Park. And it starts at noon, and it runs till 5. And we've got I keep promoting 40+ comedians, but frankly, there's more than 50 comedians this year.
Oh, beautiful!
It's jam-packed.
And may I admonish or advise the audience to get there really early, and if you can, take public transportation. It's no real sin. You can take a bus into the city, a nice transit bus.
No, there actually are directions and Muni information at comedyday.org.
Good.
So go to comedyday.org.
Would like not to have to drive on the weekend because parking out that way by Kezar and all that is horrible. So
I know the N Judah goes by there, not a couple blocks away, so it's a couple block walk. But they've got the.
But you know how Californians are about their cars. They won't won't go to the bathroom without their car.
And some of them go to the bathroom in their car.
In the car. Hey, thank you, man. You're great, Katz.
Oh, I love you, and I would love to do this more often. So, and let's see each other out of work.
Absolutely. We're right across the Park Street Bridge from each other.
Right, and if you indulge me for 1 second, I have a good friend by the name of Ross Turner, who terrific comedian, and he actually is doing more acting now than he is comedy. But he says so this is Ross Turner's joke, and I'm going to butcher it. Sorry, Ross, but he says, the Park Street Bridge is the only bridge in the Bay Area that doesn't charge a toll. And so he says that one Sunday he had an hour to kill, and he went back and forth over the Park Street Bridge, and he saved himself $94.
Unbelievable, and he's a frugal man, and we love him for that. And a graphic artist himself is Ross Turner.
Oh, yeah. He does all the Comedy Day graphics. He's the greatest.
He's
the best.
Really good, if I might add. And, I might subtract, so you never know. It could be multiplication before long. Give my best to Ross when you see him. I'm going to implore you, Ross, and my entire audience to keep your dreams wet and your humor dry. Keep your children and grandchildren off the laps of clerics that wear dresses and out of recruiting offices of the military variety. Is that clear, folks? It's an easy life if you just listen to old Ziggy, the Zigzag Man from Alameda. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Glad you could be here again, cats. Over and out.
Thanks, Ziggy.
All right.